It is 16th of December 2024, 7:42 p.m. Um, Maybe this is a short one. Today I want to talk about this song by the Eagles, but maybe I prefer Linda Ronstadt's cover. I don't know. They're both really good. This song called Desperado keeps playing in my head, and it's not. I read some interpretations of the song. There was one about it's about drugs, and the guy then started rambling about his dedication to God and whatever. I remember reading something about it's about a lonely cowboy or someone basically focusing on their craft too much that they're sort of losing the chance to love. Some people, I saw some comment that said it's about kind of half-assing everything, being on the fence and not really pursuing your goals. So there's contrasting interpretation. To me, the reason why this song spoke out to me, not just because of how amazing the vocal and I don't know the song is, something about the lyrics, of course. The song spoke out to me because somehow, from I guess this is how art works, right? You kind of interpret it into your own living situation, but it seemed to kind of point out my living situation. And to me, Desperado seems like it's talking about someone who is lost. Someone who is lost, but they kind of know the way, but they're lying to themselves. That's what Desperado sounds to me. Because, in a way, I think that's me. That maybe the truth to being happy isn't that far off, or at least sort of doing the right thing isn't that far off, but I keep putting myself in a self-sabotaging, avoidant behavior type of situation to further distance myself away from happiness. And I wouldn't say I'm schizoid, but there is that essence of avoidant behavior and not being able to like people. I feel I mean I'm trying a little by little, but I seem to quickly not like people. Which is not good. And I'm in this ambivalent thing where I'm almost, unless I already know the person for a long time, I'm very distrusting, and I start thinking about what is this person up to, What are they trying to do something to me in a negative way? And most of the time I think my mind is exaggerating, but then the thing is, there have been issues, right, where people have exploited me. I mean, landlords kind of exploiting me now. So I become sort of wary, but then at the same time, I say ambivalent because I feel like I trust too easily, or maybe when I have to sort of trust, I just feel really stressed out. For example, there's a potential job opportunity as a BD in like 2 months. But it's kind of a sus opportunity, so I asked for legal help. Uh, and I had to give my personal information. I like double check, make sure it's the person I'm talking to. I mean, I was referred to by an actual professional legal person to their colleague, a person that I talked in person. And I searched up this colleague. She's on a proper website. Her email's exactly the same on the website. She seems like a professional. But I just have this feeling of like, oh no, I'm trusting someone again and they're gonna exploit me. That is scary. Um, and then I have this, thing with legal advisor, legal advisor. The other one's actual lawyer. This one's a legal advisor. I guess this one's also a lawyer for my rent situation. And when I guess they're not fluent in English, but when they're not fluent in English and message me a convoluted message, maybe it's just language issue. But to me, my first instinct is they're doing it on purpose because they're trying to take advantage of me in some way, shape, or form. Which, I mean, I don't want to 100% deny that because there's still a chance, but I feel like I've become so wary. And then it was like the person I know referred me to this housing rent lawyer. So my thought is like, oh, is this, well, not really a friend, but acquaintance that referred to me this lawyer, are they colluding and getting money off of people? I don't know. And that's in a thought because the acquaintance is someone that I thought, ooh, maybe this is an opportunity, to get to know someone new. And it turns out this person's not very. This person, I wouldn't say betrayed my trust, but on a spectrum, it would be on that side. Didn't really betray anything because we weren't that close, but I thought something was developing and then nothing happened. They kind of this weird way of trying, it's like ambivalent ghosting, which is, I kind of rather have ghosting than something like that. But anyways, I think I went on a tangent because I want to go back to Desperado. And I guess I pointed out about schizoid-esque behavior is because the lyrics goes, you gotta let somebody love you before it's too late, or talks about not the queen of diamonds, you have to be queen of, you have to, what was it, get a queen of hearts or something. The idea I'm getting here is, focus on love, be able to sort of, I don't know, trust. I honestly actually don't even know, but something to do with being in a position where someone can love you, you can love someone. And I'm wondering, even if I'm given the opportunity, can I even? Because I mean, I guess I'm sort of focused on Queen of Diamonds. If my interpretation of Queen of Diamonds is money, I think I'm in a financially in just a weird position because objectively speaking, I should be. I'm not necessarily financially good, but then at the same time, kind of financially good. You know, I'm privileged, but suffering. I guess part of the suffering is also because of my self-destruction, which isn't like gambling, luckily, or alcohol, but it is avoidance and addiction in other forms, not drugs. And I think I'm not even really, my mind is on money, but I'm not even working hard enough towards that either. So I'm not even really going for Queen of Diamonds. I'm going for what? Nothing. Queen of nothing. So, what am I even? And then I think the answer is I just have to actually try, right? Just do it. I'm doing a little bit, but like compared to how I was in, for example, even in middle school, I feel like I was way more productive in middle school. Now I can't even do something right, do something productive for too long. If I do something for hours, then maybe I could do that for like 2 days in a week, and then the next 2 weeks I can't do. Well, I don't want to say I can't, but I just start being lazy again and distracting myself. It's not good. It's self-discipline, right? And I've always struggled with self-discipline, and it's kind of, you know, it's a hard thing. It's easy for me to say here, but then I'm thinking, with my next meeting with my psychologist, now I'm embarrassed to talk about it to her. I talked about my phone addiction, and she's usually like super nice and very kind, and then when I talked about how terrible it was, she didn't get mad, but a little like, what are you doing, sort of a tone. And that made me go, oh shoot. Now my instinct is, oh, I'm gonna lie to her, because I don't want to feel embarrassed and tell her I'm a failure, even though this whole time I've been trying to say I'm a failure. I think I have been very good at explaining that I am a failure. But now that it's like, oh, failure, I'm too embarrassed. But then the whole point of me going to a psychologist so I can fix that. So me saying this hopefully will make sure I actually stay honest with my psychologist. But we'll see. But then the other point is, it motivates me kind of to be more productive so that I have something to say instead of just saying I was addicted. And the issue is that, I'm not using, I'll just say it, like 2 weeks ago, our average hours of usage was 15 hours, which means I live in my phone more than what's physically around me. And it's 15 hours also because whenever I'm doing something, it's always on the side. Like if I'm cooking, there's a video. I'm never doing one thing, or now I'm kind of doing it, but a lot of times I'm not doing one thing as it is. Even playing video games, like I did a little bit of several hours of Path of Exile. I wouldn't listen to audio. I'll just click, keep summoning, and then I have YouTube video right in front of me as I'm watching, as I'm playing, and then now I'm, I got back to like at least last week 10 hours on average, but then I think I was able to do that only because I was playing Minecraft for hours on end. I'll be honest, at the same time, I did have some results in the sense that I still applied to a few jobs. And I got one of the recruiters messaged me for a very specific opportunity at a big company, and then I actually got an interview for this upcoming Wednesday in 2 days. So it's not like completely over, but then what are the chances that those two opportunities actually work out, right? Most of the time people apply to easily 100, and I've only applied to like 20 in the past 15 days, which is not good. So yeah, and then spent most of my time just playing games. And the thing is, I always tell myself, imagine if I'm not this avoidant. Imagine if I'm not going down this like escapism and actually being productive. I'll be really productive because with the amount of time I'm going into escapism, I still get quite a few things done, relatively speaking. So imagine if I'm actually productive. I'll get so much done. So that's the issue, right? And I feel like I've repeated this since I was 13, constantly. So this is 10 years now, almost more than 10 years, I guess, of just fighting with procrastination, escapism, and never being as productive as I want to be. And I think I'm at like an all-time low of being productive. I've never been this out of touch with my own reality, or my physical reality, because according to my Homo contentus, I'm a perfect transitional human from Homo economicus to contentus, because I'm literally becoming a virtual human, or a cyber human, whatever you want to call it, being like stuck in a phone for most of my day, or all of my day, honestly. Ironically, this is also, but I don't know kind of know what I need to do. Oh, just a lot of it is just more of doing what I'm doing right now. Spend time being more productive. Spend time escaping less. That's what I gotta do. But I lied to myself. Oh, and then lying to myself, the other thing is, do I really want to stay in biology? And I have this rumination every time of, okay, my real dream is to be a film director, or no, a story writer. And I just feel that film is a better medium than books because I don't like reading books that much, and films use how many senses? Well, what I like about film, one is that it's very visual, right? I don't like reading because I start thinking about stuff while reading that doesn't really apply to the actual story. Not in the sense that I get distracted. I get distracted as well. But then even when I'm reading, what I interpret is sometimes, I don't know if it's wrong or I just start expanding it too much, that when I come back and try to continue reading, or while I'm reading, things don't make sense because I started thinking about more of it than what's on the pages. But when it's visual, most of the time you only see what's on the film, sort of. As a kid, I still had issues where I give explanation to certain situations that I see in films, which were wrong. I just make my own interpretations. But then, I think that's to do with just understanding, which makes me think maybe that's the same with books. I'm a terrible reader who doesn't understand what he's reading. So my interpretation is wrong. Maybe that could be the case too. But either ways, I just like film because of the visual, but you can play around with a lot, right? It's not just the face value of like the plot, characters, whatever. You can play a lot with actual cinematography, like lighting, color, audio, what kind of music you play, angle, right? What sort of actors, mise en scène, right? The set piece, the set design, which I don't think a book could ever replicate the detail of an actual set design, because if you describe every single thing that's on a scene in a film, that becomes a terrible book. But when it's in a film, you don't have to, there's no, like, everything's there, it's not listing everything, and certain things can be hidden in the corner, adds a little detail by enough, or it could be an Easter egg, for example. Adds a little detail that creates an atmosphere, but you don't even really need to know too much about it. That's, to me, interesting aspect of set design, how it's different from books. The costume, the way the actors act, right? There's more to it than how someone could describe within a page or within a paper, I feel. There's limits to the medium of film, but there's also limits to the medium of written language, I feel. I think the biggest drawback of film is it has to tell a complete story within a specific time frame, right? While a book can be, there's no specific limit to page numbers, I feel. It could be a very long book with less limited time of consumption. Of course, filmmakers combat this by making it into a TV series. But even then, there's still limits. But, once again, I've gone on a tangent because my point was that it wasn't just me wanting to describe why I like film. And there's more to it, probably. But my point is, okay, I wanted to kind of be a filmmaker, story writer. But I'm really going into the field of science. And then my thought is, okay, but it's not necessarily that a person has one dream, right? I still am interested in biology. I don't think that's completely. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I am interested in biology. When I find something interesting, I really try to study it. So I'm interested in biology. Just because I'm pursuing biology doesn't mean I'm abandoning the dream. Being in biology is also a form of the dream. There's just two. And my argument is, just because I'm focusing on this doesn't mean I have to abandon film as well. And the idea is that isn't it even better, because the problem with art, although sure, pop art, right? What's his name again? God, I forgot his Warhol. It was really Warhol that brought about, isn't it fine if artists are money makers, entrepreneurs? They have to eat somehow. They have to. What is wrong with artists becoming rich through being a businessman, businesswoman, whatever? And why is it fair that artists have to have this different moral standard with their profession compared to everyone else who can work as a businessman? Right, that's kind of his whole argument. And so, yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, I kind of agree. But then at the same time, there is sacredness, right, to art. And it's not completely right, but at the same time, intuitively or culturally, we understand that art kind of should be above a simple financial mode, simple mode of income. It should be above money in some aspects, although at the same time, art seems to be in the realm of extravagance a lot of times, of opulence. But then at the same time, art is something that sort of can detach itself from the economy. It's a different aspect of society. And I feel that by pursuing biology as the business, I don't think there's still, I mean, focusing too much on money in any way could corrupt. I mean, That's how Luigi Mangione, right, shot CEO, because the whole healthcare system is money, money, money. So of course I can't be too money, money in biology as well. But it's less morally questionable to be a businessman in life sciences. And so if my source of income is there, then when I focus on art, when I focus on filmmaking, it doesn't have to be motivated financially. So there's an essence of purity there. That's the sort of argument that I'm constantly circling around. And I think, okay. Oh, and then I go, okay, sure. But then, at the end of the day, I have limited resources. Resources as in time, energy, and money to produce something. And if I focus on biology, is it really true that I still have enough resources to focus on arts, filmmaking, story writing? And then I go, okay, then maybe I should focus on the film instead of abandoning, right, it, because it's the dream. And then I go through this cycle or argument at the end of the day. And in essence, if I'm really going through that cycle all the time, isn't it just me lying to myself? For whatever reason, about how I should actually become a filmmaker. And then in my head, I just went through that argument again. But then, the whole cycle again, rumination. But then, where am I going with this? I don't know. Oh, but then the other thing I'm thinking of is the issue seems to be with limited resources, which is time, energy, money. Isn't it only limited because of my self-destructive behavior of just simply not doing anything? Because I have these dreams, but I'm not even doing the base step of just finding a job. Well, kind of, but I can definitely do a lot more if I'm spending 15 hours on average on my phone. And I guess I replaced all that with Minecraft last week and today. So, that's that, right? So yeah, and I guess my psychologist is right. She said, just because I remove that 15 hours, I need to find something to replace that. And ideally a socialization, which I'm kind of working on. But I realized, I didn't realize, I already know that it's slow work, but I can't just replace it in an instant, right? But then I realized I don't really do much to improve that. I think, I can do more. I can definitely do more. I do things, I just don't do it enough at all. I think technically every productive thing I'm doing is in the right direction, but they're just 1% effort. That's, I mean, I never thought about it that way, but that's actually very true. It's just 1% effort, but my direction's correct. So I guess I just have to do more of what I'm just doing now, which makes it sound so much easier to consume. I just avoiding behaviors and all that. And so, what was this all about? It was all about Desperado. I mean, the term desperado is someone who's desperate that they commit crimes, which isn't really me, but I kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm going way too abstract, but something I I feel like I'm within the same bubble, which is, oh, in a situation that's self-destructive, which is super broad. But the way the song words Desperado, it makes it seem like they don't necessarily have to be desperate. It seems like they do have stuff on their table, right? That was one of their lyrics, like, but Desperado wants more. Or once more in the lyrics case. For me, I'm not even getting anything. Getting anything in the sense that whatever I produced. I think I'm lucky that from time to time I just get clutch financial aid, but I'm not really living, I'm just, it's like living with living with welfare, basically. Welfare, but a little worse. So if I just do it, if I just be productive, maybe. And I think, like, sometimes I think, oh, I could be more productive if I had a bicycle, because I could just go to a library in 5 minutes, or I could just go to a gym in 10 minutes. Instead, I have to spend 20 minutes going to the library and 30 minutes going to the gym. If I just had the bike, I would be so much more productive. Which, there's some truth to it, but I can't keep making excuses for myself either. It's just unfortunate that my bike got stolen. And I think about this, like, conspiracy thing, like, what if my housemates were on it? It just happened to be that my bike was the only bike there, that was parked on that day. And then right after my bike was gone, there was a new bike there by one of our housemates. It's just my conspiracy mindset, which is not good and unhealthy, because I just dwell on it and, like, what's the point? It's better to just get productive, get a good job, than buy myself a new bike with less financial stress on my mind and in a better living place. Which, I think this is a good opportunity to also mention that I'm not going to be able to live here in 2 months. I asked why, and my Lord said for some random reason, and that's why I asked my renting lawyer, who said, yeah, that's true, but then gave me an explanation that had terrible English. So that's why I thought, oh, is a lawyer doing this on purpose because the lawyer is somehow conspiring with the whole landlord network or something? I don't know. That makes it sound like I'm a conspiracy. what's the word? Conspiracy theorist. Yeah. Which is a sign of probably bad mental health. So I should just, if I can get work and finance myself to find a good place. And one thing I realized, it's this narrow-mindedness again that I talked about, that for a long time I was thinking, I want to move to this city and this city, and moving to these cities seemed impossible. I'm not going to have a place to live. And then I was thinking, wait, there's so many other cities in this country, and I could just live by the city that I wanted to live in the first place. Ideally, I could live in between these two cities that I really either want to live in. And then it's like, oh, why did I not think about that before? It's probably cheaper. So this time around, I want to say, hopefully, there's no issue. I don't mind commuting 2 hours. Actually, kind of do mind. But I mean, if I find a place that I looked at, it doesn't have to be commuting 2 hours. It's like 30 minutes, which is absolutely fine. So that's the thing. So 2 months. There is a chance I might couch surf. I have 2 backups. One, well, first of all, if I don't find a place, don't find a job, I've already talked to a storage service, so I could put my stuff in storage. Monthly, it's not too bad. And then I would couch surf, sort of. And I still have like 1 year left paying my gym from Japan. It's an international gym, so I could take showers there, maybe. Use the bathroom there. I don't know. Ideally, I find a job within this month, so I should apply more. I saw like a really good vacancy. I already applied to it. Really good vacancy of 3,500 euros minimum, and looking for someone who's like sort of just graduated, either bachelor's or master's, almost like 4 bachelors. And the company, I'm not sure, but it's a recruiting company that I know was at a fair, and I've already called, phone call them. Oh, which reminds me, I should message them. I don't remember. I didn't save their number. See, these kind of stuff. Well, I could still message them through email, or phone call. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And that's the thing. I always figure something out in the end. Like I don't know. So Desperado. And it's being in a position that is self-destructive, but in some essence you're lying to yourself. And lying to yourself includes making yourself not open to love. Am I not open to love? I don't know. I want to say I am. Oh, but one issue I've noticed is I see people so transactionally now. Maybe because of networking, I don't know. And it's really weird. And I can't see people the way I saw people when I was like in middle school. When I I remember when I first came in, I was just goofing around and it was just fun. And I guess that was throughout high school, just goofing around. I saw people as, I think people, or someone I saw people without really seeing them. Like, I didn't have to analyze a person. I didn't have to try to understand someone. I just, live and let live. Just lived. And there were people. Maybe I took people for granted, or I feel like at the same time that's how humans usually interact with people. But now I see people as, people, as a noun, as a category, as a something to analyze, something almost foreign. Like with every human, I'm playing a game almost to make sure they don't dislike me. A game to make sure they don't ghost me or stop talking to me, which, saying that is pretty obvious why I have that sort of behavior. But I don't know, ever since I came here, it's been difficult to interact with humans. Like, there's effort that needs to be made just so you can be not abandoned. The thing is, like, back in Japan, even during part-time, there's this unspoken rule that you respect the hell out of other people, and even if it's a minor social bond, you in a sense maintain it. Like, for example, my employer that I did like a little bit of hospitality work over there 2 years ago, he still messaged me like recently, saying like, hey, are you back in Japan, do you want to work? I mean, at the same time, it's like maybe he's just looking for employees, because Japan does have a low unemployment, in the sense that there's not enough human labor. But then at the same time, he definitely has enough, or he could probably find people easily. But there's that sense of like, you just met them, but still don't abandon you, sort of. And that's nice. And yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, I definitely had this filter on back in Japan as well. So it's also probably my personal behavior, but it's difficult. I think I just I haven't had a consistent social interaction. That's the big issue, I think. Almost all social interactions I have are new. Constantly meeting people. When I have quote unquote friends, they are more so acquaintances that I talk to for a little bit, or meet, or even like long friends I would meet, but every few months, I guess. So there's no continuation, not consistency, but consistency because there's a continuation. Because shouldn't because like back in middle school, high school, there's just one grade, one class per grade, and you're with the same people every day for hours, and a lot of times I stay after school, so even hours on end after that, and then sometimes on the weekends, and then during summer vacation, let's hang out. We hang out for hours. I just go randomly to a park and we just hang out, you know. At part time, we would do the same part time, and then after that we go to Saizeria, hang out, whatever. So I was so used to consistent, continuous social interaction, and now every social interaction is superficial. So that's what I gotta work on. Right. That's a replacement. And while I'm talking about this, the whole thing in the back of my head is animal shelter, animal shelter. I want to volunteer at an animal shelter because, I mean, animals, right? But also that would be a good way to have consistent social interaction. So, yeah, maybe that's what I gotta do. I'll do that right after this. There was like one place I contacted for volunteering. Turns out they were just donating. They were like a financial institution to support shelters. So they didn't need volunteers. And then I gave up after that. So I should, right after this, I can do that. Because that doesn't seem like too much work. Although I delayed that a lot. So I'll do that. And yeah. Oh, and then the thing I have with this, another ruminating argument is, well, I guess if I put into words, maybe it sounds weird. Like going to animal shelter to socially interact or whatever. At the end of the day, I'm not really self-disciplining myself, right? I'm putting myself in a position, an obligation, so that I'm disciplined. But I don't know if that's really true. I don't know. But who cares about that, right? I should just volunteer at animal shelter. Yeah. Well, anyways. No, that's a whole nother issue, right? Self-discipline. Yeah. So that's an hour video. Again, me just rambling. And since I want to just title it Desperado, I'm gonna bring it back to Desperado. Which I think I brought it back like twice already. But in conclusion, what did I want to say today? I wanted to talk about Desperado, which has different interpretations. But my interpretation is something to do with self-destruction, being in a sort of desperate situation that leads to self-destruction. That leads to a person who can't get love, can't find love. Um, but at the same time, there's sort of awareness of that person, awareness of their own behavior and the solution already, but they kind of lie to themselves. That's what desperado means. At the core, it's you already know the truth, but you're still not making the right decisions. That's desperado to me. And I interpret that because that's how I see my current life. In the sense of avoidant behavior, escapism, in the sense of possibly filmmaking and choosing or not really working on that currently. But it's very, at least that side is conflict. The escapism, not really. That's clear message. And as I just spoke my mind, and one thing is clear is that I am technically on the right direction. I am doing the right stuff. It's just those right stuff, I just do not put that much effort in the right stuff because of the escape. So I escaped so much. I escaped so much possibly as a compensation for the lack of continuous social interaction. So I should volunteer at animal shelter. And I bet in other journals I've already mentioned that I want to volunteer in animal shelter. I'm going to do it. And I just didn't. So I'm going to promise to myself now that when I click upload, the next thing I'm going to do, or while it's uploading, I'm going to start searching for animal shelter. And then if I still have energy, which I should, do more with application. Possibly first with that really nice vacancy I saw, I would message the recruiter as well, although I already sent a vacancy. Message the recruiter as well to hopefully get a higher chance of getting that job, because that's a nice job. Imagine if I get that job plus the upcoming thing I can do on the side. Oh my god, that's at least 6,000, a bit more than 6,000 a month. But it could end up being 6,500 based on my commission from the side job from February, which is pretty nice. Yeah, but I'll start rambling again. But then this talk is also questioning, well, am I still in that trap of desperado? Am I still a desperado? Metaphorically, abstractly extrapolated really far. But who knows? Well, that's desperado. And yeah. I think what will be cool is in 2 months' time, this will be a new background. Or after 2 months. Or no, it's less than 2 months. A month and a half. Within a month and a half, this background will be no more forever, which is cool. Hopefully the next background is nicer. But until then, might as well quit when it's an hour on the dot. So, last remarks. Desperado. Great song. Love Linda Ronstadt. I'm surprised I haven't really heard of her that much, but then I realized a song I liked was also by her. I've definitely heard of the other song. Was it You're No Good to Me? Was it? I forgot. Great song. Okay, that's it.